Hey guys, this is Melinda. Got another video for you. This is I think third week of Inktober. It's an interesting video because I'm pretty sure I didn't put one day in here because I really didn't like that drawing, and yet somehow this is the longest video I've had on my YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure it's like 7 minutes. So yeah, I'm just gonna walk you through the drawings, and honestly, I'm pretty sure some of the reason that it takes so much longer than usual this time is because I've started like tacking on like the end of the video in like regular time for each drawing. That way you can kind of get a chance to look at the finished drawing or the mostly finished drawing like before I move on to the next one, because I noticed that you didn't really get time to see the completed version of it, and that kind of bugged me. So this first drawing is like my kitchen wall, actually. I was just sitting there one day, and this almost made it into last week's because I did the pencil sketch in time to put it in last week's video, but then I didn't feel like I had time to actually finish it, so I waited on it. And I just was looking at my kitchen wall and was like, there's some cool lighting stuff happening. I want to try to draw that. And that's what happened. Like, I really like it. It was all just hatching. There was no cross hatching. It was all just lines going in one direction, and formed a picture from that, and I had like pencil shading to show me what I was supposed to do, and it came from a reference of a picture. But while I was actually drawing with a pen, I wasn't looking at the picture. And my next one was pretty quick. Was inspired by some song lyrics from a band that I listened to. And it's just a guy in front of a mirror, thinking of a girl that he'd like to have there with him. I thought it was a cool idea, and I kind of like how it turned out, even though I didn't really take as long with it. Yeah, and the third one, that was interesting. Before Inktober, I'd never really done any stippling, and now I do a lot more. Like, I've already done, like, two things this week that are very much stippling based, and stippling is a form of shading with pen where you just, like, do a lot of dots, really, and, the more dots you have, the darker that area looks. And this was just me playing around with it. And I actually wrote, October 17th in dots, because I didn't really know what to do. It was interesting. There's some parts I liked, some parts I didn't. And, it's a learning curve. It's something I'm still learning how to do. And the fourth one is, again, stippling, actually. And I wrote something on this one. I wrote, do you like it, and is it good? And these are not questions directed at you. Because when I was drawing this, I was listening to Crash Course Philosophy, because I like to listen to stuff while I draw, and, it's interesting stuff. And they were talking about aesthetics, which is, like, the philosophy of art. And I think they mentioned this idea, like, I like the idea that liking it and it being good don't have to line up. Like, you can like things that are kind of objectively bad, and not really care for things that are really good. Like, a lot of it's personal taste, and being able to understand that those aren't the same things is, like, helpful for me and how I think about and evaluate not just my art, but other people's art, and, what I value in it versus what is universally recognized as valuable. And I did more stippling, and I had to turn it upside down to get some of the angles right. And the next one, it kind of started out as a prayer, because I don't know, it's something I was really worried about. And then I came back to it later that day and kind of tried to turn it into a heart. And the next one, I was in a terrible mood that day. So, and I had no clue what to draw, so I just started drawing lines. And it turned into this weird, I don't know, shape that the lines are kind of curved, but, like, they still feel kind of stiff and rigid, like, as far as I draw. And I was like, I mean, it's okay, but I'm not feeling it. And while I was sitting there drawing, I could hear out the window, well, there's this really tiny tree really close to my window, and the wind was blowing it against my window, and I kept hearing that sound. So I kind of turned it into a window. And, I kind of took that as like a metaphor for what you do in situations where you don't feel like doing anything. Sometimes you just gotta sit down and start working through it, and things will pan out. And that was just kind of my day, too, because I was just like, why am I trying to do all this junk? Like, that's ridiculous. But I realized that when you get into a slump of negativity, that's not the time to give up. That's the time to keep going and get out of it. And once you're out of it, you can reassess what you're doing and decide if there's actually a problem. And there very rarely is. And I think in talking, I got ahead of what you guys are actually seeing. But that's a lot of it. I'm sorry this video got so long. My friend was actually talking to me about creating, like, that I should create an opening for my videos. And I think that'd be cool. But I'm worried that's going to make them even longer. And I don't want that, because I feel like, it should keep it short and sweet. Even though, like, with this, I'm drawing a lot, because I'm doing something every single day. Instead of, like, what I do before, where I would just, like, it'd be one drawing instead of 7. It's a lot easier. So, comment your opinions on, if you want to, you can comment your opinions on me creating an opening for my, like, just to put in front of every single video that's, like, the same, just, like, with my channel name and stuff, and also the, looking at it after it's done.